Boy, that is very authoritative, but still does not feel bad. A couple of weeks ago, I was out working on a farm, and my buddy David come pulling up with some bags of deer corn and a Cimarron Bad Boy in 44 Magnum. And of course, it turned into an impromptu range day. He had ammo, and I just happened to have 44 mag ammo in my truck, just as I always do, because there's always impromptu range days just popping up. Of course, that day we didn't turn on the camera. We were just having fun splitting a 6x6 block of wood. And then he hands the Bad Boy to me, and he says, "Here, man, take that thing home and make a video with it." So I've definitely enjoyed having my hands on this thing for the last week and a half, 2 weeks, and it has been a pleasure. Now, I've had my hands on some Cimarron products before, but I really like this, what they call the Bad Boy. Now, this Bad Boy, it comes with an optics plate. You take the rear adjustable sight off, and you can put an optics plate on it. Now, I didn't get to try that because I simply do not have any red dots that would have been suitable. It's something I really hadn't gotten into, but I may try to, in the future, get a hold of another Bad Boy, put that optic plate on the red dot, and try it out like that. Of course, I just tried it with iron sights. Had a really good time with it, shooting some 240 grain dirty, hairy loads from Black Butterfly. Boy, those things give you a nice hand feel, but they still shoot really well. Y'all hit that thumbs up. It's not like a marriage proposal or nothing. And of course, I showed this thing off to a few friends, and boy, have they just been impressed with it. The octagonal barrel is just a really nice touch. They put Bad Boy on the side of it. It didn't overdo it. And this thing feels really nice. I would consider it to be on par with my Ruger Super Blackhawk, and I do have an older one where they really fit this thing very nicely. That older one feels really good, and like I said, this new Bad Boy, I would really put the two of them next to each other. So, okay, let's go ahead and take this thing over to the tailgate, give you a really good look at it. Boom, there it is, man. Golly bum, I like this thing. I think it looks even better now that I've dirtied it up a little bit. But there it is, the Bad Boy. I really like how they did that. That is not enough to turn you off. Just putting it right there on the side. Of course, this is the Cimarron Bad Boy. I am definitely digging this thing, man. We've got a really nice finish on this. They've polished the metal pretty decent. The bluing feels nice to the hand. Of course, looks nice to the eye. I'm definitely liking it. We've got an adjustable rear sight for both elevation and windage. A ramp front sight. If this one were mine, I'd put a little paint right there on the front of it. I've kind of gotten used to that on mine. But boy, this thing just feels really nice. Running those loads, basically, if you're not familiar, this shape, that plow handle, when you fire it, it rocks back in the hand. And if you'll notice, I just let it rock back in the hand, and then I just come right back into it. Very controllable. I'm just definitely liking all over the look of the wood, the lack of hardware. You know, my Ruger Super Blackhawks, they all have a screw right through the middle. I kind of like that slick-sided look. That is pretty neat. Of course, there's a few things about this that are different. Of course, this one is a 3-click. I know a lot of guys get really big into that 3-click versus 4-click. You know, the 4-click being C-O-L-T, Colt. The 3-click, you know, I'm not going to be so bothered by it, because when I'm shooting it, simply enough, I'm just worried about me and the target and getting this thing shoved back into the position again. That's all I am doing. Of course, there is no transfer bar safety. So basically, they do recommend that instead of loading 6, you load 5. Because that firing pin just pretty much sits there ready to bump the round. So what you'll do is you'll sit this on an empty cylinder at the top if you plan to carry it. 5 rounds of 44 mag will handle pretty much any situation that you come into. Boy, I'm liking this thing. Of course, let's go ahead and take this cylinder out. Now, the cylinder has got something really neat about it that I like. I'm used to these rounds sitting on top of the cylinder. These are all recessed. It gives a really nice flush look. And of course, you've got that little viewing window visible from the outside. So if you need to see if there's a round in that chamber, you can still see it. Very nice. I like how it's not fluted. I love that solid design on these older style. That is very nice. Of course, these are the 240 grain Dirty Harrys from Black Butterfly. 1,250 feet per second. So now let's put this thing back together. And let's do some trigger pulls. Let's see how that trigger weighs out. Well, it's harder to put together through a camera. Okay, we got her together. So let's go ahead and check our trigger pull. Got the trusty, rusty Timney trigger gauge here. Let's see where we pull that. I'll try to keep it low on the shoe. That was a little over 2 pounds. Really? And it repeated. Dadgum right. I like that. Of course, I was just trying to keep it low on the shoe, basically the way that I would pull it. So that was all I was doing. I wasn't assisting it with my thumb. 2 pounds. Very nice. My Ruger Super Blackhawk breaks right there. Of course, speaking of my Ruger Super Blackhawk, this one has the rounded trigger guard. Now, shooting those heavy loads, it will dust your knuckles just a little bit, but not as bad as the old squared off one that I've got. Because my Ruger Super Blackhawk, I think it was made in '72, and she's got the rounded trigger guard. Like I said, it'll dust your knuckles, because that's the way these things are intended, is to mitigate recoil. It just rocks back in the hand like that. Boy, this thing is just gorgeous. Look at the way it gathers that light, just glints it. I like the case color hardening right here on the hammer. Of course, right here, I think this is laser etched. It's not your normal machined type of surface, but I mean, it's enough to get your thumb on it. No problem there at all. Just a well-built piece. Not too heavy, but heavy enough to know that it's there. Everything about it's solid. The ejector rod, I really like the way this is shaped. It's got a little pocket right there in the front. And when you put your finger in it, it just fits. It's not like it actually gives traction, but your finger just pops into that little cup. It does really well. Everything's staying right there without really even trying. Of course, I'm off to the right just a little bit. I can probably drift that sight over just a little bit. So now getting my hands on this one definitely has prompted me into try to... So now getting my hands on this bad boy has definitely prompted me to get my hands on a one of my own, because I have enjoyed this thing. Like I said, when you're shooting it, it's such a pleasurable experience. It's very accurate. And the fit and finish on it, that octagonal barrel, I really like it. So yes, hopefully I get my hands on more Cimarron products in the future. So now if you've enjoyed this look at the Cimarron Bad Boy, please consider subscribing. Also hit that thumbs up and leave me an awesome comment. Some days we have plenty of time to interact. Other days we're just a little bit busy, but nonetheless, I still hope to see you in the comment section. Also, go check out my Linktree link. I've got some affiliate links down there while you're doing your normal shopping. You can help out the channel, and it literally costs you nothing more than you're already spending. So when you buy optics, clothing, anything like that, you'll find lots of links down below, and they're vetted companies. I wouldn't put any old junk down there. But anyway, y'all have a wonderful day. We'll see you next video. I love you.